what's up? All that exciting music and then this. All right. Hey, everybody. Hey, Al. Hey, Jimmy. Hey, Zach. How are you?
All right.
Yeah. I was, you know,
Is that me?
today I've had a few different conversations with people or observed other conversations talking about some of the political climate and stuff. And, I've heard a few people talk about, they're just tired of it and they're sick of it and all this. And I get it. I understand. We've got what, a week left, and less than a week now. Oh no, a week from today, and the election takes place, and there'll be a whole bunch of stuff after that, I'm sure. But got to keep pushing for another week, and definitely, if you haven't got out and voted, or you're waiting for election day, just go vote. Take somebody with you. Go vote. Go pick up everyone you can pick up and carpool and go vote. I'm not telling you who to vote for. Vote for whoever you want. Just go vote.
I am. Vote. Don't vote for the fascist.
Yeah,
I would prefer fascist greatest weapon.
I would prefer you didn't vote for the Nazi Party. But on top of that, though, also we have today, Steve Bannon was released from prison. He immediately started a speech. First thing he does is he starts talking about how the Democrats have hired Mark Elias, who is a elections lawyer, a very, very good, the best in the business. And, that's because they're prepared for what's going to happen. I mean, Roger Stone let it go almost a year ago now, that what they had planned to do was get these secretaries of state in place and get judges in place, and that way they could challenge it early and hold things up, and they would have a path then in the Congress to not certify the election. But
I remember after the last election, they started saying it pretty quickly, to be honest. I can't remember who said it specifically, but I remember people already talking about how they were going to do it, and like they learned their lessons this time and they were going to do it better next time and everything. Yeah.
And anybody who wants to join the stream, just let me know. There is a link up there at the top. I'm not pinning one because we get some riffraff when I do that. So I drop them and delete them. There's one that's still in there right now. I'll probably leave that one because it's at the top. But yeah, I mean, it's then, there's this this argument somehow, like they argue about policy things. Kamala Harris is the border czar. Kamala Harris is for mass incarceration. Kamala Harris is bad for our economy and foreign policy, and she's awful at all these things. They don't offer any solutions, of course, but and the thing is, though, is like, okay, maybe I'll give you all that. She's horrible at all that. So what is that? What's the alternative to her? I mean, the definition of a fascist, and let me just, I'll pull this up in a second. I'll go find it and put it on screen. But the definition of a fascist is ultra nationalist, who wants to take power by force, and is willing to lock up the opposition. There's a couple other things. I'll look it up. But I mean, fascism, Donald Trump ticks every box in that definition, though. Let me just go get the complete definition that way.
I'm pretty sure there's actually like a 12-step thing where it's like part of it is like has military parades and does all sorts of stuff. Because like it's the thing, though, right? I think it's one of the because like you were talking about like people with apathy, but that's kind of the point, though, isn't it? That's kind of part of the allure is that we've got a lot because America is kind of inherently a little right wing. It's kind of like it's not as inherently right wing as Britain, but it is a little right wing inherently to begin with. because of Christianity and everything. So when you've got someone basically saying, hey, you don't really have to vote anymore. You're not going to have to vote anymore. None of that's going to matter. Look, I've got my Bibles and doing all this stuff. People are allured by that because I don't have to deal with it anymore. You know what I mean? Because the divides of this country have gotten so bad that it doesn't matter that it's going to go that America might go the way that we've been trying not to go down for 250, like nearly 50 years or whatever. It's might as well just go down that way, and then the other person can go away, and this time we won the Civil War.
Yeah. So reading from Wikipedia, and it's a definition, so I don't mind Wikipedia on this. Fascism is a far-right authoritarian. That's Trump. Ultranationalist. That's definitely Trump. Political ideology and movement characterized by dictatorial leader. That's Trump. Centralized autocracy. 2025. Militarism. Forcible suppression of opposition, belief in a natural social hierarchy, subordination of individual interests for the perceived good of the nation or race, and strong regimentation of society and economy opposed to anarchism, democracy, pluralism, egalitarianism, liberalism, socialism, and Marxism. Fascism is placed on the far right wing within the traditional left-right spectrum. So what about that is not Trump? I mean, like, even if you're someone who disagrees with Kamala Harris's policies and everything about her, let's say you're a racist. Let's just give it as bad as it could be. You're a racist, okay? You don't like her because of the color of her skin. The alternative is a fascist. We've seen what happened the last time a fascist leader with he didn't even really have any power when he took power in Germany. We know what that leads to, and what's going on in the world right now. Sure, there he is. There's the guy. What's going on in the world right now?
Good evening, Zach. Good afternoon, Joe.
What's up, Jimmy? How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I had a little project at the mother-in-law's. Finished that. Went and had a tasty beverage because, the stress levels in muscles were damaged from doing the project.
Yeah. Well, I just see that, like, even no matter what metric you use to say that Kamala Harris is not going to be a great president, like, even if you want, I don't think that's the case. I actually agree with much of what she says. I think on some things she could actually be a little more progressive. But even if you don't agree with her, like, the alternative is something very strongly resembling the Nazi Party. They tick every box for fascism. To me, like, even if you don't like, if you care about your country and your fellow man, or any of the things people like, any major issue that people usually care about, then you should be voting against Trump, I would think. Even if you're not voting for Kamala, you should be voting against Trump.
But that's the thing. Most of his base doesn't care about that. There are a lot of conspiracy theorists in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? They either believe in QAnon, or they're a leftover party. Like this whole thing of just like everything that isn't what they think is wrong has been a big undercurrent of the fucking, like, the right wing since, like, at least 2001, when all of a sudden, well, it was Iraq and all this different stuff. So the right wing started to have a different view on what was going on in the world than everyone else, and it's gotten worse and worse from there. And these people think that all these things are really happening, that all these Haitians are eating dogs, that there's pedophiles under pizza plates, and they're all going to fucking Diddy parties or whatever. They believe all of these things. So to them, they are kind of voting for the lesser evil because, these people, this one isn't part of a Satanist cabal that's doing baby rapes and eating dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sorry, I had to fix something. But I mean, after the Madison Square Garden thing, which I'm not even going to play. I mean, everybody's seen it. Maya and Jay covered it very well last night. I mean, they at this point they're not even being quiet about it now. They're saying it out loud. It was, I couldn't believe that they were even airing it on TV. Like, South Park is less offensive than what took place at Madison Square Garden. And like, Trump obviously has a problem with brown people, right? I mean, like, can we agree on that?
Somewhat, yeah. I'm not 100% sure how much he actually is of any of these things, and how much of it is just, I'm a grifter and I want power. You know what I mean?
Could just be not rich brown people, right?
Yeah, because like, yeah, I don't even, if it's that, then I kind of prescribe to more that it's not even racism, it's just classism. It's just the poor. And there's one poor side you can make fight another, and if you jangle the keys enough, they'll ignore all the time that you go bankrupt and fuck everybody over and steal everything.
The only reason that I say that is because of the dog whistles that he puts out to the white supremacists and stuff.
He does now, but he never used to. He used to be like, oh, I'm Mr. Democrat, and look at me funding Hillary Clinton, and look how, George Bush is a war criminal, and he used to say decentish things, for a billionaire. Like, he was still a bit of a pig. But, like, the point is I kind of think that he's fucking, I think he just says whatever he thinks is going to give him the most favor in people's minds.
Yes.
Oh, sure. He doesn't want to alienate those people that aren't normally voters. So the people who are usually like the white supremacists historically were anti-American government pretty much, and he's brought them into it by joining in on their hate. He's a fucking racist. Yeah. But like the things that he says, the dog whistles to those white supremacists, and like the whole thing, like the Madison Square Garden thing. Why? I mean, think about it. Why did Trump have a rally at Madison Square Garden, a place where he's losing by 20 points? No chance of winning there. No chance. But there's a historical significance to it, right?
Yeah, big one.
Yeah,
well, he used to own it, didn't he? Like, it was in, like, him and Vince McMahon ran so many WWE shows there. It's ridiculous. Like, that is like wrestling.
The Nazi Party had a big thing there.
Oh, did they? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
The Nazi Party had a big ultra-nationalist rally there back in I forget the date. I had it written down, but so it was definitely a signal to those people, I'm with you, like, and I think, and then whenever you look at the content, because I seen just it coming on, I was like, holy shit, he's at Madison Square Garden. Like, that's significant, going into the election, because he is losing. If it was like close there or something, I'd be like, well, maybe he's just trying to win that state or whatever. He's not going to win New York. Not going to happen. And then whenever they start speaking, the things they say seem to follow along with that, And so even if it's not, they went out of their way to make it look like it was, And it blows my mind, because whenever I actually sit and think about it, even if Kamala Harris, which I think she is going to win, I'm pretty certain in my, I don't want to say belief, that's not the right word. I'm confident that Kamala Harris is going to win this election.
I've seen some encouraging things over the past day or so that have said such things. Like, apparently I've seen something going on about how Trump's early lead was because there was a certain couple states that were doing in-person early voting, and rural white people do in-person early voting a lot more than they do postal voting. And actually, the swing has started to go the other way, where Kamala started. Kamala, I always fucking up. Yeah. It started actually catching up to him, because the mail-in votes are starting to come in, and that's probably why they started setting him on fire.
Yeah, right. This thing about the 1488 for the pillows and stuff. Arnold Palmer's hog. I love the name. I actually called that out weeks ago and was talking about that. That it's very much it's very signaling to the white supremacists. The being the 14 words of the Aryan Brotherhood and the 88 standing for Heil Hitler. Like it's very.
Well,
it's.
Do you not think part of it's playing to that conspiracy theory stuff that's like taking over them? You know what I mean? Where like, look, can you see the hidden numbers and the hidden codes? See, you were right all along.
I'm going to go get my regular.
Because I would agree with you, but there have been Nazi parades and shit where they've got Mike Lindell on the sign dressed as a Nazi and it says 1488. And then he continues in his ads to take the price and say discount and discount it to 1488. Who discounts something to 1488? Have you ever bought anything that was 1488? I haven't. I mean, that's it. To me, it's obvious, right? And even if it's not obvious, he still fits the bill, right?
I definitely think he's doing racist things and stuff. I just wonder how much of a sociopath he is, and how much that might not matter, and it's just a power grab for whatever will get him more stuff.
Now, here's my question for you two. Okay, I've rambled long enough, and I'll let you guys answer this. So, Donald Trump has promised to export millions more undocumented citizens than we actually have, and in order to do that, there's going to have to be some kind of mechanism that he, like ships these people and finds out where they go, and it's going to cost a lot of money and stuff to do that. So my question is, whenever Trump gathers up all these people and finds that it's not possible logistically to send them all to their homes, what happens then?
He'll just dump them in Mexico. He'll just take from Ron DeSantis's book and just put him on a bus, take him a little bit across the border and say, fuck off.
I don't think Mexico's going to go for that.
I don't think he cares. Like, it depends on how far he wants to go into the fascist thing, because he could just lock him up. He could just shoot him. There's a lot of things he could do. It just depends on how far he wants to go.
I look for internment camps is what he's after.
Well, he keeps on bringing up really old, like immigration laws, doesn't he, from like the 1700s and stuff? So
yeah, the Alien Enemies Act of 1798.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, Jimmy?
Yeah, Jon Stewart had an excellent program last night. I invite you all to watch it.
Yes, it was very good.
That pretty much extends this. It's, if we look at whoever's coming from Central America right now, and you say that those aren't us, and you look at the Irish, or you look at the immigrants of not just recently some of the Ukrainian, and then before that you had some of the Afghanistan and Iranian northern Kurd populations that got to relocate to here as well. We've always been that nation that took in some of those downtrodden, basically the Colossus, the Grand Colossus.
Yeah.
We are that nation. We are still that nation, whether we are under Trump or we're under Kamala. But the fact remains, there is a lamenting of the mass amounts of people who are coming across the southern border because they didn't come here on a boat. They didn't come here through a customs situation that everybody thinks is highly ordained or something like that. But here's the thing. The majority of the Irish didn't come here through Ellis Island. They came here through Canada.
Yeah, right.
They were transported off of depressing potato famine, scorched earth, and traversed to Canada and then to here. Suddenly,
my family's Irish.
Everybody forgot about that. I would be considered illegal in terms of my great grandfather did not come here legally. He snuck back and forth between Italy through Buffalo, New York. As far as I know, the story I've heard, anyway, he went back and forth until his wife died, and then he legitimately got a passport to go back and forth to bury her in the old country. But he snuck in with railroad cargo back and forth from Buffalo, New York to somewhere in Italy, and lived here for, I don't know, at least 10 years before he became a quote-unquote legal. Maybe even 15 or 20 years. There's a picture of him in 1895 working on the railroad somewhere in this world, here in the United States. And it's a dry climate. It's a dry climate wherever that railroad's being built, from the looks of it.
Yeah.
So somewhere out west, he's in 1895. There's no record of him being here in 1895. There's a record of him being here about the time of World War I.
Yeah.
And my grandfather is also applying, and he's somewhere around the age of 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Going to bury his mom in the old country.
Am I the only one who remembers one of the first things Trump did last term was call for a ban on all Muslims coming into the U.S.? Thinking we're going to maintain status quo is naive. I think that's what this is, the equivalent, only bigger, right? He just went bigger with it this time. Instead of Muslims, it's pretty much all brown people.
I think he learned. I think he went in and he was a bit of a far right twat. And then he went and he talked to Putin and he talked to fucking Xi Jinping and he talked to Kim Jong-un and he talked to all these people and they told him a few things about how he could actually run things and how really, if we were all in the same authoritarian club, how much better the world would really be. Yeah. And he learned from that. And this time it's very different than he was last time.
She says, why do you think that? I don't know if that was to you or not, but anybody who wants to join, you can. But Trump said he would be a dictator, and I whenever I was going over the definition of fascism, that was because that was the first thing, as dictatorial, and I think that Trump very much wants to be dictator, and that is the plan. I mean, even though they may not call it that, that's clearly what they're trying to do is install a, I don't know, because they're kind of combining theocracy and autocracy and there's a few different things at play, but it all falls under a dictator, right? That sums it up.
But there's a lot of people that want that, though, man. There are a lot of people that want that.
Well, that's the really sad thing about all this is that even if once this election's over, if Kamala wins, which again I'm confident she's going to, but even if that happens, like that doesn't get rid of the almost half of our country that supported a fascist government and has all this pent up hate against anybody with brown skin because of the rhetoric and dog whistles that have went on for the last couple of years leading up to this election.
It's the thing, though. It's not just the last couple of years. Trump is
it's not. You're right. I'm just talking
this
about.
Has been going on. This has been an undercurrent for a very, very long time in America.
Oh, sure. I mean, I think racism is baked into all of our laws and stuff. I think it's systematic, honestly. But I
don't just mean that. I mean, like, this weird undercurrent of like far right people. It's like it's MAGA now, but it used to be the Tea Party, didn't it? You know what I mean? They change the name every once in a while and rebrand, and everybody goes, "These aren't the same people in the slightest."
Yeah, well, it's the really, because the Madison Square Garden thing. I don't know if everybody's seen it, but it was gross. Especially the part with the comedian, the Kill Tony guy, and
he was brutal.
Yeah, I mean, he started out trying to make jokes that people weren't really. They were like, "Oh, are we?" He was saying the stuff out loud that's kind of been dog whistles the whole time. But then whenever he started to get into the racism against black people, the saddening thing about that is that he said it. But it's also that people cheered for it. Like a whole bunch of people cheered for him saying him and his friend were going to carve watermelons and stuff. And that's fucking like what? I mean, he that's not comedy. Maya and Jay covered that on Skeptic Cave, and I encourage you to go watch that. I'm not going to rehash all of that, but like it's very frustrating. If I had a soul, this would hurt it.
No, I was one of the people that said I'm sick and tired of it. Like I've had too much of it for too long, and I'm burning out with it. And I said that on my stream earlier, and I know I know you were in the side chat, Joe, and thanks for coming by.
I was referring to you. I just didn't use your name.
I know. I said it out loud today, and I'm not. Yeah. I know I'm not the only one that's just kind of had it.
No, it's not just you.
The whole deal, and it's not. It's worse because of what's at stake. But there's so much talk everywhere, and I don't think we're the only place where there's another election talk going on. But like my country is having this talk too. But like they might be through certain like confidence votes and stuff like that trying to get rid of our prime minister. And there's also talk about at provincial level, and provincial elections are happening across our country, and it's like I can't get away from politics for 5 fucking seconds. But the amount of vitriol and hate baked into the commentary made by so many people at that, I guess it was a MAGA rally at Madison Square Gardens. It was like the greatest hits. It was a greatest hits concert from MAGA and their bullshit. And I hate that I can say that with like knowing it's 100% true. Like they're fucking is it Miller? They have a guy who's saying America's for Americans. We know exactly what they mean by that, right? They mean white Americans, right? The right kind of Americans, right?
Hitler famously said Germany is for
Germany. Germany's for Germany. Yeah, Germany is for Germans. And you know what? It's fucking sick. It's disgusting way to talk about people, because your country and mine were both built to where they are by immigrants from around the world. People forget they talk about European immigration being the first immigration. Sure, yeah, it was part of some of the earlier immigration, but holy fuck, there's a lot of people that built the railways especially from China in particular, but people from all over Asia, all over Europe, all over Africa, all over South America, and it's just absolutely infuriating to know that I work and live with people in my country, and your country's not much different.
Yeah.
Stephen Miller, that's it. Not to be confused with Steve Miller, the band.
Yeah, right.
And because when I said greatest hits, but he is like, and people have joked that he looks like a vampire that's got out of a tanning bed and it didn't work. But it doesn't matter what he looks like. What he says is full of hate and vitriol. This whatever the guy's name was, Timmy the fucking douche nozzle of the
douche nozzle.
What the fuck was he going on about? Like fucking calling Puerto Rico a trash island? Like Jesus fucking Christ!
Oh, that Tony Hinchcliffe, the so-called comedian.
Was I calling him Timmy?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was thinking about a different South Park.
You're thinking about Timmy Tampon.
Fucking Jesus Christ! Like Puerto Ricans are Americans. For fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
And the USA is made up of and like the particular mosaic of people in the USA and the makeup of people in the mosaic in Canada, they're not perfect clones of one another by any means. But people from around the world, they're great humans, great hardworking human beings from around the world are living in both countries. Yeah. And to put them down because of their cultural background, their ancestry, is just absolute bullshit. And it just needs to fucking stop.
It's not even a joke. I mean, he just basically called them trash. I mean,
and that guy's a comedian.
There was no punchline there.
Oh,
and
fuck.
Then, I mean, he's making watermelon jokes. I mean, talk about like going back to the 1930s or 1940s. And even back then, it was a bad racial stereotype. And that guy was just horrible.
That people even then recognized it for what it was.
I all wish they were darker.
Yeah.
But hey, Big Bad Mama, and hi
guys.
Hello, Zach, Jimmy, and Joe. I'm sorry I came on and started just losing my fucking noodle again, but it's only because this stuff it's sickening and vile, and it's being well received.
Yeah. No, that's what I was saying.
That's my fucking problem with it. Yeah. I'm sorry.
They're trying to distance themselves. They're trying to distance themselves from that comedian, but somebody had to look at what that guy was putting on the teleprompter and load it on there. And now they're kind of backtracking. And if anybody has seen that guy's act in the past, they know why he was chosen for that role, because he's always been like that.
But like, isn't part of the reason they chose a comedian to do that so they could go, look, it's just a joke. See, it's a comedian. You can't say it's not a joke because it's a comedian saying it.
Right.
As a comedian,
I think Jon Stewart.
As a comedian, I imagine that he had some freedom to go where he wanted to with it. But they were aware of his comedy, and nobody said shit about it at the time, right? It's not like, in fact, like I said, he started saying a bunch of racist stuff, and the crowd cheered for it. It's not. They knew who he was. He wasn't there speaking just like. And Trump today, of course, the go-to. I have no idea who he is. I've never met him. Never talked to the guy. That's always Trump's thing,
Well, he's never met anybody that anybody complains about.
Yeah.
Unless they're big enough to be like that. And and the upshot of it, I actually was listening. I was on my way to an appointment this morning. I was listening to political commentary on a news program, and I was also listening to the late night host. And the one thing that's true across the board and should be appreciated is how many people of Puerto Rican descent, both serious people already involved in politics, like I think AOC is one of them, but also people who are more from entertainment and celebrity have come out. I think Beyonce, some person named Bad Rabbit or something. I can't remember their name. I'm an old man. I'm not down with what's going on and who's in entertainment.
I'll be right back, guys.
But okay. But they've come out against this vitriolic speech. And I would like to think that those people who are well respected as entertainers, I know about Beyonce at least, and they're well respected people who have great careers and are willing to come out and speak out against that. I hope that holds a lot of water. Bad Bunny, there you go. Bad Bunny, what's wrong? Sumami's upset with me for not knowing about this reggae artist. I am so sorry. I do listen to Bob Marley. I hope that gives me some cred, because I'm a big Bob Marley fan. But I do not know this Bunny person. I'm sure they're wonderful, and I will check it out.
I know him from wrestling, and that's it. I saw him do the wrestling a couple times, and that's it.
And I see what Maya just said here, and I this is important and true, but also I hope it's understood what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I hope that the fact that entertainers are willing to get up and say something holds some water with their fellow cultural people. Like, people from their culture will appreciate what they're saying and take heart and go out and vote if they weren't doing it before.
I mean, maybe
I have that one reggae friend. Yes, Lewis. I'm so white. I listen to Bob Marley.
But there's also an undercurrent of right-wingness where, like, all these people are crap because they're part of the mainstream media. So because they're part of it, what they say doesn't mean anything because they're all part of some, like,
it's Hollywood,
underground satanic cult worshipping owls or whatever.
Yeah. They're drinking adrenochrome and
adrenochrome's my favorite. I like the raspberry flavor.
I think it was a little encouraging that even that audience that was at that Trump rally did not think that guy was overwhelmingly funny. In fact, there was a lot of groaning going on.
He did get boys and girls. Good point. He did get some.
Which is, it shows me that there's at least a little bit of a conscience there with some of those Trump supporters. But I mean, it's the people that put him on there as an act and in a political rally that I'm worried about. Those are the people like Stephen Miller, you mentioned. I mean, that guy's
Stephen
just
Miller is
a fascist,
a gross fucking person. But so is like
Lewis
Trump's rhetoric is right in there, and they're just playing the hits from all of that, and it's sickening. And I wish it would stop. And my point was just that I'm glad that people with big names are coming out to say something against it, and I hope that encourages young people that might not be politically minded, if they see and hear that someone they like from music or from pop culture, from acting, from social media, whatever. And if celebrities don't hold any fucking water, then I hope people remember what the fuck Donald Trump is.
See, that's one thing I'm hoping for. That there's a lot of loud liberals saying he's an evil fuck because he is, and then there's a lot of loud MAGA people going, he's the best thing ever. I wish he was Daddy Jesus. And there's a big middle ground where a lot of people don't give a shit or just wish he would shut the fuck up and go away. So I'm just hoping that there's this big undercurrent of people that have just been silently there waiting, just going, I already know, I did this last time, fuck him. And it's just a lot of people arguing, making it seem less obvious, making it a less obvious result than it should be.
Hi, Amber.
You mean like the loudest people are the most ridiculous in their hyperbolic speech about what's going on?
What's up, Amber?
Yeah,
Hola.
Hey,
so
how's it going?
Driving home. So my signal's probably going to be shit, but I cannot type fast enough. Y'all are doing the liberal thing. You're completely getting red herringed. You're missing all the forest for the one big Puerto Rico shaped tree. They're mask offing even more so than before, right? The comedian, he was a distraction meant to piss everyone off so they pay attention to him. But you did on point how all of his comedy hailed back to the fucking 1940s era. That's one point. Another point is the first speaker who said, hey, I didn't think I'd be speaking at a Nazi rally in New York City or whatever the fuck. Haha, just a joke. Except it's not. Elon goes up wearing a fucking SS hat. Like,
I'm fucking dark MAGA. I'm goth MAGA.
Exactly. Like all of this shit. It's not even whistles anymore. They're outright saying it. They're doing the thing. They're blatantly, here we are, the National Socialists, whatever. They're actually openly Nazis now.
And to be fair, I did say that at the beginning.
You did. Joe was not pulling any punches, that's for sure, and rightly so.
Yeah, when they say "Make America Great Again," that's "Make Germany Great Again." It's point for point the same shit.
Yeah,
it is.
Controlling the religious right. I mean, it's all the same playbook.
Well, yeah, but that's where they get it from. That's why he's like, oh, look, I've got my Bibles, and he's getting his YouTube personalities going up there saying stuff because he knows who he's going for. He's going for people that don't really know much, aren't really that well informed, and they have certain mouthpieces they like to listen to, and whatever they say is gospel. So that's why he gets them up there. And then if they say bad things, oops, I guess we let the mask slip a little bit. But really, this is what you want, right? And a lot of people on the right go, it totally is. But it's just jokes. Don't worry about it. Like,
every single thing they do is test the waters for shit, right? Like when they had Michael Knowles at CPAC, we're going to exterminate all the transgender people. If the audience had booed, they could have walked that back. But the audience embraced it. So they're like, all right, we're gonna push this harder. And then here we are this year where they've spent more money on anti-trans ads than all the other kinds of ads they run put together.
Well, yeah, because they learned from 2016, didn't they? And all the whole anti-SJW thing, they went, oh, actually, we can do that, and we can do it more effective because we're one cohesive unit, right? So they stole all the things from back then and started doing it for themselves. And because they control a great section of the media, and they go around and they pay people like fucking, Tenant Media or whatever the fuck it was, and all these things to just spew whatever bullshit they want because people need division. People like to fight against each other because we can only deal with so many people, and the idea of an out group that doesn't think like us or act like us, well, it's weird. So we should do something about that, right? And if people have that mindset because that's just normal human instinct, well, then if you've got somebody feeding into it, going, we're actually going to do something about it. And you've got almost an entire base of people going, I'll believe whatever you say. And then they can make up whatever they want. It's going to go very far, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
I will.
there's a bit
Let me
more
say
to
hi to
that.
Will.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey guys, I actually have to hop off here. I'm making dinner, but I wanted to bring up one point that I was listening to on the way in. I mean, I'm sure you guys are going to get through that outrageous rally he had with whatever the hell that comedian was. But yeah. I was looking at the math for the Holocaust when the 6 million Jews were killed. And I don't know if you saw that 60 Minutes interview where they're talking about, well, the families don't have to get separated. We'll just deport them all. That'd be like upwards of 20 million people. So we're going to like triple number the Holocaust, which I don't even think is logistically possible. Like, even if you built camps, I mean, I don't think there's like the National Guard with ICE, with the military would be able to do that, because they're going to be deporting citizens and non-citizens, it seems like, if that's the way they want to do it.
That seems to be the plan.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I don't think that's logistically possible, but the fact that we're having this conversation is absolutely horrifying. And I just wanted to put that in and see how you guys would respond to it, just because it seems like it's logistically impossible. And then the estimate was it's going to cost like $88 billion to deport 1 million people every year, which doesn't seem like an economic policy that's sustainable, or, you know, that idea should never have been thought.
No, you're deporting people that are going to add to your economy.
I think that's just raw
that's
meat
a drop in
to
the
throw
bucket compared to the economic impact.
Trump's.
I think that's just raw meat for their followers, and I don't think that the wealthy people that are running the country actually want to deport that many people. I think it's just the supporters want that language out there, and so I don't agree that they probably want to do that many deportations, but maybe I'm wrong there.
Well, 21 million is the number that came up out of Trump's own fucking mouth.
I kind of agree. I kind of think that that they're doing it for Red Boot, but I kind of think they're doing it because most of his base, they don't really care about most of what the laws is or what their ideas is or anything. A lot of these people, they just want every one of us and every liberal in America to be that angry one with the glasses and the green coat when Trump got elected, screaming at the sky. Like,
yeah, I know. I don't think
all they want from us.
What?
And
I don't think
any time that something is said, that's why they don't care that he says 6 billion things that anger everyone.
Well, no,
it makes them mad. They love it. And I kind of think that's why.
This has very much been Trump's identity, though. His whole campaign identity has been on deporting these people. And when they can't do that logistically or financially, what do? Do they enslave those people? Do they kill those people? Do they put them in camps? Because he's not going to take an L on that one.
I think that
he will do something.
Big Bad Mama are correct. I don't think that they actually want to deport that, because they love the immigrants because they can't unionize and they don't have the rights. And if they don't work hard or take a sick day, they can just threaten to call ICE. So they talk out both sides of their mouth.
Get me wrong. I totally think they want to deport people. I just think they've made up the numbers.
No, I think
the believers want to deport people, but not the people with power.
I think the number had to be bigger, and more fantastical, just for the political part of it.
It's Trump. Everything has to be bigger.
I'm
going to deport the biggest amount of people. You know what I mean?
I mean, what if it's 6 million?
That's a Holocaust.
That's still logistically not feasible.
Death camps.
My worry about that is because the issues because it's these Nazi speech and Nazi ideology. What is the inevitable outcome whenever you can't do that, but you've started up all this hate against those people? And I hate to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but if we're following the same steps historically that the Nazi Party took, how do we not, at least be worried that it ends in the same way?
Well, but the thing is it won't end in the same way. Trump wouldn't, if he got in power, he wouldn't lose. It wouldn't be, no, you're misunderstanding me. There's no one would be able to fight against him, right? So in the 40s, there was a West that was democratic and didn't want to deal with totalitarian fascism, right? But there's no one to fight against that now. So if America does it, that means Putin's on his side, that means China's on his side. all the big superpowers are all would become totalitarian fascist dictatorships of some sort or whatever, right?
Already there.
So it would make everywhere worse because there would be nothing to fight back, and they would go wherever they want and do whatever they want, and no one would be able to do anything about it.
Oh, I
Well,
believe
it's
that.
worse than that. It's much worse than that. It's 1984, right? You know,
Yeah.
We've always been at war with East Asia. No, we've always been at war with Eurasia. They'll fake a fucking war. You need to, fight the other fascists to bring real freedom, and it'll be a fake war. They'll just be sending people to their deaths just to keep wartime mentality going, because they treat 1984 like a fucking guidebook.
Fuck yeah. It's the arrival of American democracy at the precipice of fascism is something that nobody wants to talk about out loud, but it's fucking here and it's fucking scary.
Yeah.
There is one saving grace. The Germans in the middle of the 20th century were incredibly capable individuals with a high level of proficiency in every task they undertook, even the evil ones. MAGA, on the other hand, is an unprecedented level of incompetence.
Yes, ineptitude exists. It abounds. Ineptitude abounds amongst the MAGAs. But there are enough of them that are just shitty people. What did Maya say that I missed?
Maya said the shaken fist is being idealistic. We're not fear mongering. They are saying they want to do these things.
I never said that they didn't. What I said is that Trump likes to inflate numbers to make himself bigger. I also did say that they probably did want to deport all these people. I don't get where the disagreement is.
Yeah. Well, I think that there is a certain amount of rhetoric that you can't determine that, like, because Trump, I mean, you have to take him at his word because he does such awful things and
how
wants to do such awful things.
Is the hyperbole 2 million, or is the hyperbole 21 million, or is it some number in between? It does like, perhaps he is like just throwing out fucking numbers, but that doesn't take away the fact that he's damn well gonna make a show of deporting a whole bunch of people if he's in there. He'll do it just to have a crowd of people cheer to watch people being sent to who knows where with absolutely no regard for their humanity or the fact that they've set roots down in your country or whatever the hell it might be, like, or that they have children there. Like, he'll make a show out of it just because he thinks people want to see it. And then also that conversation that you about owning the own the libs bullshit, like just to watch someone cry because they've been so mistreated. And so, sorry, Amber, go ahead.
One thing we know about Trump is when a project becomes difficult or time-consuming, he immediately abandons it. So there is a non-zero chance that this will go exactly the same way the wall did, and he'll get it maybe 1% finished and just stop.
So let's take a moment and just pretend that Kamala is going to win this, and not talk about Trump.
Yeah.
Then we play the waiting game for 4 years.
Well, I mean, I think we still have a serious issue, though, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing I was pointing to.
40 fucking million Nazis in the country.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, I want to press upon everybody's psyche that you all seem to be talking like Trump is going to win and Trump is going to do these things. And isn't that a winning strategy by the opposition? Is that a resignation? Doesn't that sound like some variation of surrender?
Well, I don't talk to the people I canvass for like this. I talk to you guys like this.
You talk to
this is among friends, though, right? Like,
yeah,
I think that's the distinction there.
It's like preparing for a hurricane. It's like preparing for a hurricane that might hit you. You have to be prepared for it, though it might not, even hit anybody.
And you have to prepare for a class 5, even though it might only be a class 4 or a 3. You batten down the hatches for the worst case scenario. I do think that sucks, but it could happen anytime.
But why aren't we?
There's fallout potential too, right? If it goes I'm not saying like if a Jan 6 scenario happens again, but is more well organized because that drum's being beat all the damn time. That's also something to be concerned about, I think.
Well, Biden's in power right now, so hopefully the Jan 6 thing wouldn't be as big of a deal like when Trump was in power. But hey,
I don't
Joe,
know. I mean, they're already
Yeah, I
doing
know.
terrorism in Washington.
Might be a little optimistic there, but he does have he's the commander in chief, so hopefully he should be able to do something about that. But hey, Joe, thanks for letting me hop on. I'm going to hop out. I can't wait to listen to this
Well, it was nice
later.
to see you again.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I wanted to chat with you, but we're not in a chatty mood, I guess.
No, I got to go make dinner and get stuff done. But I just wanted to come on and hear your guys' thoughts about just the absolute preposterous proposal and the logistics and the financial of even deporting just the illegals, let alone the illegals plus their families so they don't get separated. And Jimmy, whenever you want to start being the voice for audiobooks, I will be your first sponsor.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping in, Will.
Yeah, big fan of all you guys. I'm always pumped about the community that Joe has built here, and you guys are all a part of it. And I enjoy talking with all of you. I wish I had a little bit more time. But I'm going to hop off. I'll listen to this, and then I'll give Joe my thoughts later. But you guys are great, and I hope you have a great rest of your night.
So I just want to respond to Maya. Maya's got some chats going on, and I just want to respond to this.
I got to pop out too.
I think we've heard about 5 to 8 years right now of Trump bad in some variation. And in my opinion, if we're not saying Kamala good and dreaming about how great it'll be under Kamala, then Trump has already won.
Well, I don't think I don't think it'll be great under Kamala.
I think dreaming about how great it'll be is lying.
Then the Democrats have lost.
Well, yeah, but I'm more far left.
The vision of the democracy sells. And if you can't sell it when it needs to be sold the most, then it's not worth having.
Well, no, I'd rather be truthful and point out how actually we should do better than what the middle ground is.
Now,
like,
we're dwelling on the negative, folks. If we can't dwell upon how beautiful the future might be and the beautiful sunrise and the sunset that the democracy holds.
No, but the problem is if Kamala is just going to keep the status quo in some fashion, and most people's problem is the status quo, there's nothing to sell.
If you're dwelling on the negative, if you only complain about how bad taxes are, if you only complain about how expensive taxes are, then you're not going to see how great the services are when you move to the places where taxes are low and you don't have any of those services.
Oh, no, I totally agree, because I think taxes should be much higher.
Exactly. I do too. I actually do.
I think we can go down that hypothetical road.
Why would you insult me, Maya? Why would you insult me? You know what, guys? I don't need this. I'm going to go walk. I don't need to be insulted. If I'm delusional, folks.
I see your point, Tux. So I think it's a good point, but I think Zach does have a good point too, that we need to be realistic. And
I'm all right with realistic, but what have we talked about 99% of the time from the time this started to the time now that I brought it up that, hey, Kamala is good.
Because
let's talk about Kamala is good.
We did this in 2016 and we sang the praises of Hillary Clinton and Trump won. We need to focus on Trump more. Leaving Trump.
I'll take Kamala 10 times over Hillary.
So I think that the most pressing issue, if Kamala wins, I mean, the most important thing that needs to happen is that we need to work on being more united as a group. And how do we get there? And I think that those are all good things that we need to discuss. I agree with that. I don't think pretending that it's going to be some wonderful thing because she wins is quite appropriate, because that doesn't get rid of the half of our country that is still, in this fascist ideology. So how do we move on from there? I agree.
Well, then give Trump the presidency and let him trip over his big long ass tie and enjoy.
Trump. The thing is, though, is that Trump may have all the hate speech and all those things, but this time it's not about Trump. There's plans that don't have anything to do with Trump. And even if they lose, Project 2025 doesn't go away. Like, these are still things that need to be addressed. I mean, we come and we do videos and talk about religion and the harmful things it does. And most of our community is aware of the things we talk about. Especially for me, I talk about creationist things. Everybody knows that's horse shit, right? So the thing is, though, is that if we're not talking about these things, it doesn't mean they go away. I mean, there's still a threat. And that threat, being an activist, has been more about exposing that threat and shining light on it. So I do understand why you think it's negative speech.
Let me take this a different direction. Okay. Yeah. Same thing. We're talking about the same thing, but I want to take it a slightly different direction. If that you talk about him in the negative, he wins. Yeah. If he has a plan where you talk about him in the positive, he wins. If you don't talk about Kamala, what? Fill in the blank here. It's pretty simple, folks. If we are excited about Kamala, the Democrats win.
That's not necessarily true. In this
if you want to call me delusional for thinking that,
it's just not true. There's been plenty of Democratic candidates that people have been plenty excited for, and they didn't win. Being excited isn't
was Hillary. If I was excited, if I loved Hillary, but did I love Obama? Yes, I did, and he got elected twice, pretty much by landslide standards. Right?
And like I was saying,
did John Kerry get the Democrat love? No, there were a lot of people that sat on their hands on election day.
That's just not true. What happened with John Kerry was a bunch of people lied about his military service, and everybody got the bug up their ass about it.
I don't care.
You know what? I have a very vivid memory of him going into Michigan and saying he liked Ohio State football.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah, but I also remember being plastered everywhere.
You can't do that.
On the boat, and he was
the guy was a boob, and he just wasn't. He wasn't Georged up. Well, no, he was not loved. He was an anti-vote at the best.
Right.
Except for maybe a couple of Massachusetts and New England
but not everybody has to be all warm and fuzzy about it. Like,
I mean, Biden was not super popular either, was he? I mean, Biden was not well loved.
There was a love because the Democrats rallied behind him. In my opinion, because the Democrats went unselfish route and rallied behind him for Super Tuesday. Yes, I do believe that there was a love that was exhibited for the candidate. Yes.
I think he also received millions of protest votes, though, also.
The independent is definitely going to be up for grabs for this one. And here's the thing. You could say Trump is facing the same wall of incumbency that he faced in 2020.
But isn't the same people politics a protest vote?
Say that again, Zach?
Isn't most of American politics a protest vote? Like, it's on
I don't know about most,
I'm going to vote for the right winger over the left winger.
I would say good. About 15%.
It's why the elections are always the slim margins, because everybody's decided before the person's picked.
Yeah.
I mean, Biden got voted because Trump screwed up the COVID response? I mean, isn't that the real reason that he got? And the economy was screwed up at the end of Trump's tenure. So I think a lot of that was a protest vote.
If you watched the Michael Moore movie about how did this happen, there is a moment in which Trump is standing at the precipice of a factory, and the narrator says some variation of how does Trump survive the storm, and Trump gleefully says in his stern, stoic manner, with a bit of austere voice, and says, I am the storm. When we talk the way we do about how bad it's going to be under Trump, he has created the storm, and we are just trying to throw an umbrella in Chicago on a windy day, and that umbrella ain't doing shit.
So, like, if we're going to keep on calling him a fascist and draw like parallels to Hitler, right? Mm-hmm. So what if it was actually Hitler running? Are we not supposed to talk about how bad Hitler is? Like.
My suggestion is just to escape the storm.
But the problem is,
don't continue the storm. Don't make it worse. Don't make the whirlwind go any further. We are blowing the storm in a turbulent swirl.
Ignoring the bully has done nothing but make the Republicans worse for decades. Mm-hmm. Like, we ignored the Tea Party; they turned into MAGA. Like, there were people before that. Like, this undercurrent's always been there, and we've just ignored them all the time. Like, it didn't go away. It got more. It got stronger because we weren't fighting against it. Going, look at what these people believe and what they want.
History will not be kind.
Here's the problem with that, though.
History will not be kind to their thinking.
here's the problem with that, is that Trump relies on ignorance of people to believe the stupid things he says and the lies he tells. And by getting on here and talking about the things that are proposed in Project 2025 and the things that Trump plans to do, those independent voters you talk about, maybe, I mean, you know, I don't get a lot of people that aren't already, you know, part of my community and audience that come by, but maybe they come by and say, hey, I didn't know Trump planned on getting rid of the, you know, Board of Education, or hey, I didn't know that, I didn't think about how he was going to do this thing. So it's very much to talk about that, because that's the information that side doesn't get from Fox News and from Trump. You know, CNN preaches Kamala's great stuff all day long, right? And if we're not talking about the awful things they want to do, then people are still ignorant to that. It's informative is why I choose to go that route with it. I mean, like, I don't think you're wrong. I just think, like,
to my point, what's your most favorite thing that you're looking forward to Kamala being in office for?
I'm not even pro Kamala. I'm anti-Trump.
Yeah, same here. I'm not.
So it's just anti-Trump.
I don't support the Democratic Party in any way. I support ideas. I like some of their ideas. I mean, you know,
like if she gets the abortion law through, that'll be great. You know, there's things that they want to do that are cool, but like, I'm more left wing than her, and I think she's a little too centrist, and I think centrism is really what screws America over, because
I think our government.
What about maintaining democracy? Like, Mai even pointed out that it's voting for Kamala is really not a vote for change. It's the status quo. Yeah. But maintaining democracy, the constitutional contract that I have with this country is a good thing. Would you suggest that the praises of that good be talked about and be invigorated?
Yes, but the thing of it is we also have to talk about the dangers that the other side poses.
Because it's right today. Today.
Because isn't this exactly how religion works, Jimmy? It doesn't work to promise somebody.
That is exactly where I was going.
Yeah, but what's his face got out today? Fucking Steve Bannon, right? What did Steve Bannon say? Part of the thing about getting Trump in power was fucking filling the rivers of information with fucking shit, right? And just, it's all bullshit all the time, right? And there's so much bullshit that fucking no one can do anything about it. That's part of the reason that you have to keep on going on about it, because there's new stuff every 5 minutes and nobody fucking knows half of it, because not everybody's a fucking news hound. And like, people need to know these things. The problem is when one side's so bad, you have to focus on them. Just leaving them alone to fester in the darkness is silly. Like, just saying that we're just going to keep the status quo. Well, yeah. Do you know what? If I could vote, yes, I would vote for fucking Kamala, right? But the problem is I don't think she's that good of a politician. She's better than Trump, but it's still just the amount, like, for the most part, American politics, especially when it comes to presidential elections, is nothing but fucking the best of a bad bunch. And like, what are you going to do if you keep on the general election keeps on bringing everybody to the center, and the right figured out that if you move the center bit by bit and you keep on making more and more right-leaning things seem like the center, well, then when you draw to the center, you have to be more right-leaning. And it's been happening for 30 plus years. And just like, I don't know. Yeah.
I do very much support these policies, Nitty. It's just, I was saying, I don't support a party. I support the good ideas that they put forward. That's all I was trying to say there. I do support those things that you said.
Like, I'm not against her.
I just codifying abortion, home tax fund. I do support all those things.
I mean, they're both corporate candidates, right? So you vote for the candidate that has the most social safety nets for people to put in place. And that's basically it. And Trump is for getting rid of all those social safety nets, Social Security, what have you. And he's for marginalizing groups of people.
I'm not saying that we should. Yeah. No one shouldn't vote for her. I'm just saying I find it hard to be enthusiastic for her.
Right, I agree with you.
I can't primary shit. I'm in the UK. My vote don't count for fuck all in either country.
Well, I voted for whatever.
I live in Kentucky, so I mean, like, imagine how I feel. Like,
what do you want about your vote's more important then?
80% of my state's going to vote for Trump. I know they are. Like, it's.
No, but that's why it's important that the small amount that are anti-Trump definitely vote, because then even if that little amount grows just a little bit, that growth matters. Because like, look at Texas. Texas might turn purple in the next few elections. Like that stuff matters. People,
I think they're making some surprises, honestly.
Yeah, like the idea that living in a place that's mainly one like Republican and not voting and your Democratic vote is pointless is silly, because all it needs to do is grow a little bit each time, and more people will go, do you know what? Maybe actually it does matter.
You know, if one of these red states would flip blue, it would mean this whole build up about all these swing states and fighting over Pennsylvania and all that was never the thing that they needed to be concerned with. Like, I get that. I think it's definitely Kamala's job as a candidate to get out there and sing her praises and the praises of the Democratic Party that she'll be leading. I think that's very much what she should be doing. But
I do believe that Kamala is a very well qualified and is a deserving candidate. And I believe that she has a better resume than Donald Trump has. I believe very firmly that she has taken her coursework seriously. She's got she's been in a state political arena. She's been in a national Senate state relationship, and she's been a vice president. And there's far no better resume right now in the United States for a qualified candidate than Kamala Harris. That's the facts. If you want to call me delusional for saying, hey, let's go toot our own horn and hope that the parade yields a winner, great. I'm on that. I am on the Kamala team. What I'm not on is Trump bad team. But if it's an anti-vote, then that's my position. So I think we can do better talking about Kamala great and Trump bad as opposed. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I just want to jump in on what Jimmy said there, because I feel like I'm hearing people maybe miss the point, even if you don't like everything about Kamala, and I don't get a chance to vote, so it's not really something like where I have a horse specifically in the race, but I do, because we're each other's biggest trading partners, or we have been historically, and our around here, what they say is that we're sleeping next to an elephant, which I guess is a way to put it. And so you got to watch out. But I find that the nature of politics has changed completely and maybe this is around the world, but the idea that it's not about what you can do as a politician for your country. It's about that you're not your opponent, and I feel like they've both gotten to the point where all they do is talk about how bad the other one is. Like when you hear the actual candidates speak, it's just like, I'm not that person and that person is bad for this list of 25 reasons. And I find that that's really difficult to then get into what are the meat of the matter, because people that don't investigate what policies and plans are don't know. Most people are not politically savvy. They don't know what's actually going on, and they don't realize what's at stake. And they believe the lies they're told. And I personally am so cynical that I believe they're all lying. And I feel like you got to take the smallest bite out of the shit sandwich with the least amount of shit on it. And unfortunately, that's where politics seems to be at, and it sucks for everyone around the world. But I agree with the idea of beating the drum for somebody to help them. I think that's what Jimmy's getting at. I think it's important to rally behind someone so that you're going out to vote for someone and for something more so than you're voting against what you've been taught to hate, which in the case of MAGA, I think is pretty worthwhile hating. I've never felt that much that something is super, super bad for people in anything that's what I used to think of as a democracy.
Yeah. Like I think if it was a different election, and you weren't against this type of people, I'd be more willing to fucking sing her praises. But like, I don't have a lot of time to think about Kamal because I've got to think about all the shit that he might do. Because fucking, I live in Europe and I'm really worried about Trump getting into power and day one just going fuck you, Ukraine, and then I got to worry about Russia.
I think there's several issues that we need to like do whatever it is we got to do to fix. The number one cause of death of children in the United States is guns. That has to change. Women's bodily autonomy, that women have to have rights. All people have to have rights to be who they are, and have rights over their own bodies. Those things, and I think Kamala promises a better future for those things. And those are also things that are threatened in this election. So it kind of, I still get to, bitch about things and say nice things.
I mean, when it comes to that sort of stuff, it'd be better to talk about senators, representatives, wouldn't it? Because fucking, even if Kamala wins, I keep on saying her name wrong. I'm too fucking, I remember Thingy from wrestling and I keep on mixing up the names. But if she wins, if the Senate is Republican controlled and the House is Republican controlled, or both of them, it kind of doesn't matter what she wants to do anyway, does it? Because if she can't get it through, then everything she says is a lie and she'll be out in one term. So I always kind of think that the lower down races get so little attention, and the fucking important.
No, I think that's important too. The down ticket races, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of
Biden was able to work with Congress,
that will vote for her and then vote Republican the rest of the way down the ballot.
A Democratic Congress is, no matter who wins, is kind of the most important thing from my point of view.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, if somebody wanted to change Congress, I'd totally be for them more than anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't get why Congress shouldn't be an equal number of Democrats and Republicans. If you've got two from each state, shouldn't you have a Democrat and a Republican from each of them? And then you actually have to fucking work together about things, don't you? Instead of going, you don't have a super majority, so it doesn't matter. Fuck you. I'm just going to stand up here.
That's why our government has stopped functioning completely.
Yeah.
Is because it's so tight now, and the filibuster thing that for some reason they continue to mess with. There's some changes in people in the Senate too that kind of screwed things up. But our government has become deadlocked because the Republican Party sees anything that passes as a win for Biden, so they don't want to do it. And the Democratic Party is not promoting fascist ideas, so the Republican Party doesn't want to do it. Unless some bill includes either tax cuts for billionaires or some fascist ideology, they're not down with it. And I think our government's just like broken at the moment, and I would like to see us unite and do better. And I think under Kamala, that's possible. At least that there is a possibility for people to see that if Trump loses again, he's lost at everything eventually. And he loses voters when he does this. So the more people that come to see the light, since we're talking religiously here, the more people that come to the light, I guess the better it is that you have a chance to actually change some minds and actually do some work that represents the people of this country rather than the ultra rich or some small minority group of the country.
I think a lot of Democrats are frustrated because, I mean, somebody like Biden had the chance to roll back Trump's major corporate tax decrease. I mean, he rolled back taxes for corporations. Did we hear Biden ever talk about reversing that? He never did. I don't think environmental regulations are in a much better place. So I think a lot of Democrats get frustrated, and I have to agree with Zach for that. The right has driven the political spectrum so far to the right that now we're struggling to even find the center.
It's like you see that, like with there is other stuff like you're saying there, like Citizens United, Glass-Steagall. There's a lot of ways that the government got fucked in the last 20 years, and like took all the teeth out of it, made things so much worse. And like not very many people on the left are ever talking about, you know, redoing shit like that. If Harris said something about that stuff, I'd be on her fucking team so hard. But I don't hear her talking about anything like that, like the important things. It seems, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying nothing she says isn't important. It's just, to me, that sort of thing to make government work better should be more important than a lot of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
because like, if you can't regulate who can give you money and you can't regulate who can say what with absurd amounts of money because we need super PACs or whatever stupid bullshit, like, we're talking about Jon Stewart before. I remember when all that super PAC shit happened. Him and Colbert did the best shit.
That Colbert segment.
Opening a super PAC and how they couldn't talk to each other. It was fucking beautiful.
That was beautiful. That was one of the most memorable moments.
Yeah. And like, this stuff happens all the time, and people are just like, it's been going on for so long now that, hey, who cares, right?
Yeah.
She can't say that all her big business contributions would dry up. Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? Because well, we need the contributions because we've got to run a 2.5 year long campaign. You know what I mean?
I think I agree with you on that one too, because the money situation is weird, because while these candidates do have to have support and fund their campaigns and stuff, some of these PACs though have allowed for a way to dodge caps on campaign contributions, right? So the corruption that's involved in the money, if there's a way to separate that would be awesome. Because
money is speech.
It is money, you know.
People, remember?
It is money, but you know, because allowing corporations to then go over the amount because it's a PAC, it's for, you know, the party or this part of the party or whatever. Whenever those PACs then end up being like, I mean, Trump has his own PACs that are just for him, and it's all it is a way to avoid campaign contribution laws. It's
not just that; it's also a way to avoid. So they could say Trump's super PAC can say stuff, and then Trump can go, "It's nothing to do with me. It's a super PAC. We're not allowed to talk to each other."
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's also a nice level of plausible and deniability. He doesn't really need it, but, you know, it's nice to have nonetheless, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, you should. I think I agree with Mai on this. You should be able to donate to the parties, and there should be, you know, regulations on how that's done. And I know that's a big dirty word, but there should be, you know, rules that we follow about doing that.
You can't have regulations because it makes it harder for the rich people. How dare you, sir? How very much dare you? It's disgraceful.
Here we are. We're against regulation. Here we are obeying the YouTube community guidelines.
But we're the poor people. We have to. It's all right. They get money to not do it, right? They get the money to do it to us.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, until the thing of it is it's people is the problem, right? I mean, like, it's not. It's that we have a bunch of shithead, hateful ass people that want to see it all burn rather than their insignificant religions die away. And I won't go down that road, but it's
a long ass road, Joe.
It's unfortunately part of
it. That's Trump's base are the fundamentalist Christians. I mean, I think you can't separate that out from the politics.
I know. Yeah,
it's something Colin said a lot. Like, I think it was in his Back in Town show from '96. He's like, that's the thing, right? Everybody goes on about politicians. Politicians suck, right? They go, politicians suck. But what about the people? People suck, right? Where do politicians come from? They come from the public. They have to come from the public of that country.
Do they though? Because that's not really how it works anymore.
I love my Congress. Well, not my congressman, but I love a congressman.
Yeah,
The thing is the good people don't want to go into power. The sociopaths do. The people with power-hungry means do. With like the people that want bad things do. They need that control over people, and somehow that's how they end up into it. And the thing is on you go into two camps, don't you? You got the camp that wants to help people, and you got the camp that wants to help themselves. Sociopaths always fall into one, and they're going to work together, and they do. It's why the left is shit, because the left doesn't want to work with each other. The left is like, no, we all have our own ideas, and we're always the most special. And the right is like, hey, we don't care as long as we're in power, so we'll say whatever.
Right.
And that's why we keep on
the left is worried about being right, and the right is worried about being in power.
Yeah.
2 different goals. Yeah.
Well, I feel my work is done here. I changed the narrative just a teensy little bit.
You did good, Tux, and I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Tux.
And it's always good to. I love to have somebody challenge, the direction I'm taking things, because it helps me to better understand my position and yours. So I appreciate it, Tux. I really do.
I am a Republican until about 20 years ago, and then thanks to Yellow Cake from Dick Cheney, I became a Democrat. As soon as I found out that was a lie, I became a Democrat overnight. I was never so pissed in my life.
Yeah.
Well, at least Dick Cheney
Dick
supports
loves
Kamala.
Yellow Cake.
Maya said, yeah, we're no longer shitting on Trump. Now we're shitting on Dems. Way to go, guys.
As long as we all
At your
agree
service.
everyone's shit, that's all we got to get.
Hey, if we're talking about how crappy it's going to be under Kamala, Kamala is going to be the butt of a joke. Whoever is in charge is going to be that butt of a joke. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but the joke's different.
I feel like our conversation was like, Trump's already in and we're going to have to suffer through it. And I don't know. I feel like we could talk about better things than that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start working on dinner myself. I'm going to join Will, and I just got a text. And
well, fuck
all right.
Comma, it's pronounced comma.
Kamala?
La.
Kamala.
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 Not camel.
My Kentucky accent makes me want to say Kamala because that's how we talk here.
That's how we talk here.
But I've managed to get it under wraps doing a political show. I've managed to make sure I say Kamala.
Wants to hear it often enough. It can be rough especially when people are going another way to mispronounce it. I think that which really sucks, but that's been happening a lot, and it shouldn't happen. Like, people should have at least a little bit of respect, but they don't, and that's gone out the window, and that's a really sad thing that's happened in the last, I don't know, maybe it's always been like that, but it feels to me like there was at least like the pretense of some sort of respect before.
That's Trump. I mean, Trump, Ron DeSanctimonious. I mean, he's come up with names for all these people.
I think that stuff kind of started wearing away in the mid 2000s, to be honest. Like there was a strong undercurrent of right wing, like, fuck everyone else and we can treat them like shit because we're kind of better and we're the white hat Americans and we're the good Christians and you're evil. So actually kind of fuck you. I think Trump just lived off that. Like
everybody's scared.
I think it started around Obama, to be honest. I think it was around 2008.
Everyone is scared. There is the fear mongering that goes on both sides of the aisle, and then there is also the fear of the things that Trump actually promises to do. And I understand that fear is a hell of a strong emotion, right? And I think that it's right that sometimes we stop and think about both sides of that. I mean, I don't think they're equal in this case, and I'm still completely going to shit all over Trump as soon as you leave, Tux. But
gee, look at the time, gotta go.
But all right.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, it was great to be on with Bozy, because I've never been on with Zach and I've never been on with Big Ben Mama. I'm pretty sure I've been on with Al at least
Jimmy,
once, maybe even 3 times.
A couple of times. We'll do it again sometime. I got to learn how to have a good voice like yours.
I don't know. You got a pretty damn good voice.
I'm working on
your microphone, though, is a little shoddy from time to time. I always tell you when it's a little crackly or something. So
yeah, no, this is a cheap $35 headset that I'm using now, so I wouldn't expect it to be good. I do have a nicer mic, but it's not that great. It's not that great. I can't afford anything like that right now. I got to get back in the truck and stop talking about politics.
Yeah, I'm
hoping next week's the week.
Yay!
So, I'm looking forward to it.
Well,
yes, I will be voting for Harris and Walz as well. and I'll be voting for my Congresswoman Ramirez. And I invite you to vote for whoever. Just vote.
Yeah, get out there and do it.
Just get out and vote.
Exercise your rights. Excellent point.
So
that's important. More important than anything else.
Even if you're not familiar with the voting, get registered if you have a same day, or if you can, because here in Illinois, I think registration ended like about a week ago or so. So if you can't register anymore, then don't do it. But if you can still register in a state that's day of, and you've never done it before, go do it. Get your practice in. It's a civic responsibility that is important. And if you're intimidated by it or anything, just go. You don't need to know anything. Just go out and learn it. And then you know for the next time on how to do it.
Plus,
and first time's always practice, and so on and so forth for a betterment of the future.
How I just don't understand how people can say they're not going to vote and then also pretend that they either care about their country, themselves, their area, anything, their bank account, anything. Literally, if you don't vote in a democracy, all the things that are in your life, it's ruling over it. And if you don't vote, it means you don't give a flying fuck about anything.
No casting for votes. That's a great tsunami.
What did Tsunami say?
There. Yeah.
No casting.
No casting votes for sexual predators,
hey,
please.
You know what? I can fucking agree with that.
Yeah, here.
Here, Tsunami.
Maybe we can get Kamala to change her slogan to that.
Yeah.
What is?
Don't vote for the sexual predator. Like.
Yeah.
Well, and both, like, it's rampant on both sides, but the rhetoric on the right that specifically cast that allegation at anyone with a left-leaning disposition of any kind, and I also heard and agreed. I couldn't talk right at the moment you guys brought that up, but the idea that the center line has been shifted so far that it isn't a center line anymore it's almost a joke. And it used to be in Canada, we would say, you know, our furthest right politician you would consider a communist. In the U.S. and we were joking about that 30 years ago, but like it was almost like kind of just tongue in cheek. But now it's like, and Canada's moved right as well. Like it's wild how this swings. But the idea of this dystopia and stuff, we have to talk about that. We have to talk against it. But I also agree that talking up the alternative as not just the least shitty shit sandwich, but like maybe it's got jam in it or something, you know, somehow.
Shit sandwich is still just a shit sandwich.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Politics is like that, and I think that's why I said earlier I've lost all of my patience for politics in general. Yeah. And the idea that my country's about to go into another federal election is just driving me batty, because now I have to like think about it. And the American election is so pervasive, you can't escape it. Even though like I kind of don't, I go out of my way not to listen to daily media stuff, but it's so pervasive. Everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, it's weird looking at the American one because I live in the UK. We had an election in the summer, and it was like the only election where the left are definitely going to win. Everybody hates the right. It's like the only election in the entire world this year where everybody went, no, fuck the conservatives, fuck the right wing. It was great. The conservatives are so hated over here that like Labour didn't even have to run like a campaign against them. They just kind of went, yeah, we're in it, and just. Because like the Britain is so bad because of conservative rule, and I think that's one of the things that should be pointed to. Do you know people like Boris Johnson and Liz Truss who completely ruined this fucking country? Liz Truss bankrupted this country in less than 40 days. She was prime minister for 44 days, and 2 weeks of that was when the Queen died. So she didn't do anything, and then she went, "Here's a little budget," and then she ruined everything for everyone, and everybody went, "Ah, fuck!" Like apathy in Britain brought us Brexit. We went, do you know what we should do? We should cut all of our ties to all of our nearest trading partners, and they'll pay us more, right? Like, anything against how Trump and how he thinks his tariffs are going to work and all that bullshit should look at Britain and what Britain thought it was going to do in the fucking Brexit vote. And look how badly it turned out for us. We're still fucked now. And we're going to be even more fucked for like the next 10, 15 years because of it. This, like... Yeah. It's one of those things. People think that they're eventually going to be rich a little bit. So actually, maybe we should give all these people little extra power, shouldn't we? Because like we'll be rich one day, right?
I want to just show everybody.
That.
This is a MSRP for a vehicle that was made in 2018, the end of 2018, for a 2000 model year. There are minuses on here in the amount of $2,850. I had never seen minuses on an MSRP prior to Trump putting and enacting his first sets of tariffs. And inventory started to dwindle. Inventory started to accumulate at the port because they couldn't get parts for them anymore. This was all pre-COVID. This wasn't because of COVID. This was all pre-COVID. Your ability to buy in volume, like the capitalistic system is designed to work, is diminished because of Trump. Period. End of list. If Trump gets back into office and he enacts his little tariff war that's easy to win, we will see no inventory. We will see prices spike. We will see all the same things that we saw occur right about the time COVID started. And then the sledgehammer of COVID really interrupted things even more. So that's my plea to you. I am a car salesman. I care about these things. And I'll be affected. So I'm going to get off. Thanks for having me on, Joe. It was great to be on with Zach, Big Bad Mama, and Al.
Good to see
Joe.
you, Tux.
Appreciate it. And a shout out to Robert at Shaw Podcast and to the Damn Morning Show. Damn Show.
Yeah.
And
hi, Chris.
Maya, thanks for the spirited conversation over chat as well.
There you go. Bye, Jimmy. Thanks.
Bye. Bow tie bless.
So,
tariffs don't do any good for anybody.
We can talk about him now.
Oh, no, we talk about Jimmy or talk about Trump?
It doesn't matter.
He's right. Tariffs don't do tariffs. He was just shitting on Trump's tariffs. But that's a policy issue. That's something that actually he promises that policy. And
Trump promises those other
tariffs
things.
don't help consumers.
Yeah.
And they don't even help manufacturers that they're meant to help. We gotta bring up the standard of living around the world so that these weird games can't be played. Isn't that what the whole idea was, to put in democratic values, to have people have control of their lives, to have people in control of like their value, and that's all been taken away. And the anti-union sentiment in the U.S. is another example of that, I think, coming down the pipe.
Oh, we've got a strong anti-union thing over here, man, because for some reason people are really easily convinced that things that would help them out are really bad for them. Because like,
where the fuck does that come from? Why is that?
Well, it sounds
fucking terrible.
No. I think I know exactly where it comes from. I think the whole thing is a self-fulfilling prophecy from the right. So I think the right goes, hey, we want to help people, right? We really care. And I'm not talking about Trump. I'm just talking about general right wing. Like, and what we should do is we should balance the budget, because if you balance the budget, it means, things will work. So they then fucking balance the budget by cutting shit, right? And go, hey, government doesn't work. Did you see how government is inefficient? You know how inefficient government is? And it's them making it inefficient so they can then go, well, you don't want to pay taxes for services that don't work, do you? So we'll lower taxes. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter that we're lowering we're making bigger deductions for us, but you're getting little pittances. It was like back when George Jr. was in power, right? And every once in a while he'd go, hey, I'll send you a check in the mail. You like me, right? And it's just that. It's just, well, you pay us less and we'll do less, but by the way, pay us more privately though. And that's part of the tariff thing. It's like, yes, it will be more expensive, but part of that is so he can put money in the pockets of the people he's working with. The whole goal.
Sorry.
All right.
I hadn't used it in a while. I was waiting for it.
I thought everything had just ended.
Yeah, I did for a second. Oh shit! Did his internet?
You'll know if it ends.
I've been on this. I've been on the more the more you know thing. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need more. We need more people knowing what's up, and less people buying bullshit. And we need less bullshit on the market too.
Yeah.
You can fertilize a field with the excrement of just about any creature. It doesn't have to be a male bovine.
Oh.
Hey,
No.
Joe, I'm going to jump off, but I really
Okay.
appreciate you having me on, and it was good to see you guys. That was a
Yeah.
great
Good to see you
discussion.
too, Big Bad Mama.
We'll see
Come
you
by
next time.
anytime, Big Bad Mama. We're having
Thank
a Halloween
you.
special tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely stop by for that, Joe. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Big Bad Mama, you'll appreciate this. Check out the new song on my channel about Hoven.
Oh, okay. Good.
It's the latest song I uploaded. You'll love it.
Sounds good. Take care, guys.
All right, have a good one.
Bye. Big Bad Mama. That's
Big Bad Mama. You
Big
gotta
Bad
watch
Mama is
out
a
for Big
voice
Bad
of
Mama.
reason in our community. You
Voice-
know that?
Yeah, a bit of a calm centered presence that's needed
So-
every once in a while.
So here's my thing. I see that I live in it's known for being one of the poorest areas in the country, right? Like,
Yep.
and I see how both minorities and impoverished people are treated and stuff. And then I also do this stuff with the community where I have a lot of very, very close friends who are in the LGBTQ community. I have a lot of friends that are atheists, of course, and a lot of friends in a lot of different areas. And a lot of those places that those friends are, the things that are possible if Trump was to win are hurting my friends and me, but more so my friends and the people that I care about and come and come and support this channel. The people that I support what they do, they support what I do, and there's somebody out there trying to hurt all of us. And so I admittedly do get stuck sometimes on going down, this is bad and this is bad and this is bad. But also, I still kind of feel like until this is over, that I have to do that. That's the reason why. It's not anything else other, it's not trying to be negative or any of that shit. It's because I have real concern about what would happen otherwise. And so when I sit and talk about Trump promises to do these things and why is this scary and what's the implication of this awful thing and they're all Nazis and all that shit, it's because I want other people to see the threat that they pose to me and my friends and this community, because there's a good possibility that all this ain't going to be okay anymore. So it's
they've been trying.
Project
really
2025 calls for them to make this illegal.
Yeah.
So
well, they've been this is all. I think a lot of people act like this is like a new thing, but this has been going on for ages. This push, making money speech. Money is now free speech. Corporations are people, so corporations can use their free speech as much as they want, and it's all been going on since the 80s. And part of the way that this works for poor people and gets them to vote right is because they just go, look, you're poor and mostly uneducated because we've decimated the education system. So you don't understand how civics works. You don't understand the government. You aren't paying attention to the news. In fact, you're actually probably paying attention to the news that we make to make us money and stuff like that. So you'll believe what we say. And then they go, it's the other side. It's just them. And then they say all the things they're doing as though the Dems are doing it, and then act like, hey, it's not us. It's totally them. They're the ones doing it. We know you're not going to look it up.
Yeah.
So then when you start, so as a leftist, you start saying, actually, it's this way. They go,
well,
you just,
I mean,
what are you talking about?
Trump's method to the madness depends on the uninformed, the ignorant, and the bigoted, racist, those people, right?
Yeah.
The bigots and the racists, they're gonna follow him anywhere. They don't care. the ignorant and uninformed, or the same thing really. The uninformed, we'll call them. Thanks, Al. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I do.
The uninformed, though, if they're uninformed and ignorant to the way that government and politics and all these things work, then, and as bad as it sounds, wouldn't it be best to tell them the horrible things that the person that they support has coming for them? I mean, I know it's like fear mongering, but it's true fear mongering in this case. It's the things that it's his words. It's not just making it up to scare people. It's true.
Yeah, like when it was Romney or like fucking McCain or whatever, you know, it wasn't like, God, the fucking America's going to end and half of the world is going to blow up and all this shit's going to go on. You know, like it was just, you know, the poor are going to get poorer and the rich are going to get richer. You know what I mean? Like whereas like Bush, you had to get pissed off about Bush Jr. because Bush Jr. was a war criminal, a very big war criminal. And do you know what? It's one of the things that it's one of the things I find weird. I remember Bill Maher saying it once, and I've seen a few other liberal types, or at least ones that pretend to be, saying stuff like, "Hey, do you know what? Trump's so bad. I kind of miss George Bush." And it's like, I'm sorry, what? I don't care how bad fucking thing he is. We're just being like missing a war criminal is weird.
And I just posted that tip thing in there to see if it worked because I hadn't used it yet. I don't expect anybody to do that. That's just me messing with my bot. Pragmatic Crystal has taken some time off, and so
we'll have to do it for ourselves now.
Yeah, I've been kind of trying to keep an eye on chat, and but I mean, I kind of knew with this show that it would, you know, not be too bad. You can get the occasional people. I was watching out for the Looney Tunes guy because he says some crazy stuff every now and then. But other than that, not too bad. Yeah, I mean, it feels like. I mean, when there's this impending doom, though, it's hard to not. Mention the impending doom.
Well, I mean, come on, it's like. The closest analogy I can think of is like, do you know what? Maybe we should not talk about global warming anymore. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, no.
Have you seen Don't Look Up?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what they rely on. There's this big meteor coming. Don't anybody look at it though, okay? Like, but that's a direct metaphor to what's going on.
Yeah, and it has lots of parallels to Trump as well. That's the other thing I liked about that film.
Yeah, it's just like his family and him and shit.
Well, I don't just mean that. I mean, like, the whole "Don't Look Up." It was the time it came out, the "locker up" chants was still ringing in everyone's ears. You know what I mean? There's because
if "Don't Look Up" and if they would have incorporated "Don't Look Up" into Idiocracy, it would have been the perfect movie.
Dude, man, when one of the reasons I didn't realize, I aside from not knowing about it being, you know, like a Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden, part of the reason I thought it was part of wrestling is because fucking Hulk Hogan's there failing to rip his shirt open and shit. And it's like, man, I saw him doing that, and all I could think of was Comancho. I'm just like, oh, Jesus. It's like, isn't it? Yeah.
That's what I think every time I see Hogan, too. I'm like, that's what they're going for, yeah. Like,
and it's like, I remember when that film came out, because I've always been a big Mike Judge fan, you know what I mean? And fucking, I remember that film came out and I was like, this is fucking amazing. Ha 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 ha. And then, do you know, around 2012 to 2015, I started going, maybe this might actually happen. But, you know, down the line, and now it's like, it's fucking here. Like, people just really want to believe conspiracy theories nowadays. I totally think it's because the right wing's latched onto it. Because they realized, well, actually, if you look at all the conspiracy theories, because they always used to be left-leaning people, didn't they? You know, it's like, you know, some weirdo hippie in fucking Arizona, in Sedona, Arizona, or whatever, New Mexico, talking about how aliens picked them up, and, you know, we didn't go to the moon, and JFK didn't get shot by this, the Twin Towers were actually done by, you know, whatever. And, like, they realized that actually there was quite a bit of power in that, because I think it's through Andrew Wakefield, because like the left went really hard for Andrew Wakefield, right? But then Andrew Wakefield went to the right during the anti-SJW stuff, and like after that, the conspiracy theories started dripping over there, and a lot more of those like old like Christian conspiracy theorists started popping out of the woodwork, and then everybody started believing everything was slightly demonic, and then, oh, well, actually QAnon turns up, and then, oh no, actually everyone is demonic and everyone's a pedophile. And then you see people like Russell Brand, who, big aside from all the rapiness, was a fucking stupid conspiracy theory guy from back in the day, and he was like, oh look, I have to kind of assault all these women because I'm like a spiritual guru, and it's just wacky, man. And
I just
now
realized, sorry.
So sorry, I'll just finish this. And now, you know, he got trouble for, he got cancelled for things that he did, and now all of a sudden, well, now it's all that wacky conspiracy theory stuff's on the right, and now he's slightly manosphere and all that stupid shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I used to buy into the 9/11 stuff from Alex Jones. And I just figured this out, but I can actually look and see how many people are watching from which platform. So hello to the one person on Twitch. And hey to the 6 people watching over at X. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. So there's the IDK. I saw the Daily Mail had a positive piece about Elon in the at the MSG rally. Dude, the Daily Mail used to be run by like proper Nazi supporters. They've always been very far right. Like the Daily Mail is one of the worst papers, really.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to get far right conspiracies, you're going to get it in the Daily Mail. You're starting to see it in the Telegraph. Like, it's quite bad. There's also what's the other fucking place? The Spectator, and they just go fuck them. You know what I mean? Like, they're all evil. Do you know what? Like, it was great. Do you know what happened in Britain after the 2008 crisis? They voted in the Conservatives, and the Conservatives went, it wasn't the bankers that ruined the country. Don't worry about that. It wasn't the bankers. It was the disabled people. It was the disabled people. So we've got to cut disability benefits, and we've got to cut mental health services because, you know, those people are really a drain on the country. And it totally wasn't
entitlements. Yeah.
But the entitlement in Britain is strong because it's ingrained. It's inbuilt. Like everyone.
Well, the funny
Britain,
thing is, sorry, I keep interrupting you. Go ahead.
It's all right. It's your show. It's just I'll just do this one last bit and then I'll shut up. So most of the land in Britain is owned because of William the Conqueror in 1066, and everybody who owns was 80 to 90% of the land in Britain can all trace their family lines directly back to the Doomsday Book from William the Conqueror. Because to be honest, in Britain, if you're not in a certain family, you're not allowed to be well off, and you're not allowed to do well. You have to know the right people, very literally, and go to precisely the right schools as well.
Yeah. No, I get you. The funny thing is, though, is the Christian nationalist movement is so strong in the Republican Party, and yet the Bible says that we're judged on how we treat the least of us, right? And we've known for a while that how other countries view us is based on how we treat our impoverished, our poor, our homeless, those who have nothing. And yet the Republican Party chooses to ignore that part and only want to support billionaires and corporations. It's a it's just a contradiction in their ideology. Just saying.
Well, yeah, but the people don't understand this because most people don't read the Bible. They read it once. You know, when they first turn into a Christian, they go, I guess I'll read it now. And the rest of the time, they get it read to them in study groups and by a preacher. And they get told what to think about the Bible. They don't actually think about it themselves. And if you get
believe in Jesus.
Yeah, and if you get people that are more Christ-like and do the things that Jesus said about, helping the poor and doing all this stupid shit and the rich are bad, then they go, well, they're just wishy-washy Christians. They're not real Christians. They don't do the stuff well enough. You don't help people. You don't be nice to people.
I'll have to give you guys a good Kentucky sermon one day. I can do it. In fact, I could probably spit one off the top of my head, but I'll have to do that one day with all the Jesus and all that.
Look, I need a thing that I can slam down. I want to do that shit myself.
I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but do they do do they make sounds to tie their sentences together everywhere?
Say again?
Do they make sounds in between sentences to tie them together? And
what, like just the preachers?
And Jesus said, "Ha!" Do they do that stuff?
Oh, totally. Because
Yeah.
part of it is keeping a rhythm and a beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got a beat structure because you've also half of them they go along with songs and stuff. You know what I mean? So you got to keep this like man. If you haven't watched it, you should watch Marjo.
If I ever get mobile again to where I can get out of my house, I will expose everyone to some of the locals here in Kentucky and and let you see what it really looks like here. I've wanted to do that for so long, and I think it's important. And there's people that will sit down and talk with me too. So I've but
it's weird with that over here because everyone's kind of like, I guess I'm a Christian. It's Britain. Nobody really gives a shit because it's Church of England.
No, it's not like that here at all.
No. It's one of the reasons I started a YouTube channel, man, because I come from men. They were all ravenous there as well. And then I come over here and people are like, well, you just shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. Just whatever. And it's like, but goddamn.
I post a lot of the stuff that I do and say on my personal Facebook page that not really. I think maybe one or two people in the community is privy to it, but the locals around my area definitely have made it clear that they do not support what I do.
Yeah. I'd probably get that back home if I was doing it back home.
Well, there's a big difference. There's a big difference in talking to an apologist or addressing the things an apologist says and talking to your average believer. Big difference, right? And I mean, sure, they're not equipped for really having an argument or whatever, but the most common thing that they say to me is the no atheist in foxholes thing. I get that a lot. You'll be saying that until you're dying and this and that, and then you'll be sorry and you're gonna burn in hell. You know, I get that a lot too. But
because because people because they know, but it's because it's just manipulation. Because it's like part of the you should be. Why aren't you afraid of hell? Hell should be something you'd be afraid of because they're trying to trigger old emotions in you. You know what I mean? And it's like, and they go, well,
fairy tales don't scare me, sir.
Yeah. Because it does them, and the Christians.
I get that one
really
too.
Hard time with empathy. So
we all get this one from everywhere, though.
Oh yeah.
My answer to that is always, I say you're right. I don't believe that that's the Christian view that God poofed everything into existence from nothing. I don't actually believe that. So that's
sorry.
Yeah. What? No, you're fine.
No, I was going to say I'm a firm believer in the cyclic universe, so I don't think it came from nothing.
Right.
I don't think anything came anywhere.
Well, I think that and this is my opinion. I'm not trying to state physics facts here. I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on some of that stuff, but this is my opinion. It seems that matter, energy specifically, is something that is a fundamental part of our universe, right? Like the quantum field is something that is part of our universe. And so and that's not nothing. So that would be the most basic way I could say it. But also I think, just thermodynamics would point to the energy responsible for the matter and stuff we see as being something that's eternal. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's all energy. It's just how the atoms decide to vibrate and get together, and it's all just based on that. So, yeah.
Well, that's to be honest, that's part of the reason I'm more interested in the cyclic universe theory, because energy can neither be created or destroyed, so it must always be. So, why can't? The way I look at it is, I remember I was reading, I think it was one of Lawrence Krauss books, and he says the thing is, right, is if it was in a few more billion years or another trillion years or whatever, you wouldn't be able to see the afterglow of the Big Bang anymore. So you would more think that the universe was more static because you wouldn't be able to see it. You wouldn't be able to tell it was there. So say, and then that sort of thing makes me think, so what if we got supermassive black holes at the middle of all the galaxies, right? And some of them have multiple, right? What if those keep on getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then eventually you beat dark flow and dark energy and it pulls back together in a crunch? And to me, it seems to answer all the questions and doesn't go, well, what started before that? And it's like, just another universe, bro.
That's the theory, right? I mean, that's how it works, right? Because eventually dark energy, once it spreads out so far, it can be, it doesn't have the energy that the black hole energy would counteract it, right? So you've got...
It's a possibility. We wouldn't be able to tell yet because
it works. Does anyone else believe electrons fall in love here? They could. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to end this under the 2-hour mark for a reason.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because StreamYard lets me do fancy things with the video if I do that. So
every time I get into physics and quantum, it ends.
Well, you can come back not this Sunday, but next Sunday and talk physics with me if you want. I'll have you as a guest on the show again.
Yeah, go on then. That'll be fun.
Because now, so tomorrow we've got the Halloween special, and it's going to be me, Dave, Tobin, Robin, Occult Examiner. We're going to play with some tarot cards and do some other fun stuff and have a good time, just joke around and stuff. And Sunday, so big thing here, Sunday is now going to be called the Greater... shit, I mess this up every time. Sunday is going to be called the Grateful to Know God's broadcast. That's the name we're going with, and that's going to be the theme of that show. You know, that I think that eventually I'm going to turn that into a podcast, and it's going to be published everywhere podcasts are too. So I'm working on expanding and growing things. That's why you see now that I'm on all these different places streaming and doing all the things I'm doing, because I want to get into some other stuff. But anyway, I'll talk to you about that, Zach. Are you on my Discord?
Probably not. I don't think I'm on anyone's really.
Okay. Well, you not use Discord?
I've got it. I made it, and I completely missed most technological advancements and stuff. So I was homeless for like nearly 10 years, like 6-7 years. Yeah. So I missed loads of stuff, and then I never caught up.
Why did it not? Yeah, Michael, I would love some help on that, because I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing. I just had the bot post all my social links in there. My Discord's in it. It's the last one, I think. Yeah, Discord.
Can I show my new show that I'm doing though? Huh? Before we stop, can I show my new show?
Yeah.
So not on Monday. I've tried to do this a couple times already, and YouTube keeps on taking it down because they don't like me talking about vaccines and stuff. So I'm gonna on Monday. I got Dave from Dave Capture Desk coming on, and we're gonna go through and make some fucking pseudoscience memes on bottom of the barrel, and hopefully it won't get taken down this time. So actually, you should probably be there more the while, because this is the third time I've tried to do this, and YouTube always says that I'm a conspiracy theorist and takes it down. So you should come watch it while it's still up. So Monday, I think it's 4:30 Eastern, or 5:30 Eastern. It's one of them. It's on my channel. You should go do that.
All right, there you go. Go over to the Shaken Fist and subscribe. Zach has one of my favorite channels. I watch all of his stuff. You should too.
Cheers very much.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Have a great one. Go vote and fuck Trump later.